Rumi and Jinu's dating rumor, that would have ended their careers. Hey guys, welcome to my review of K-pop Demon Hunters. I know I'm like 9 months late. It's like I'm pregnant. I know I'm like 9 months late from the hype. I want to talk about this movie, so we're going to talk about this movie. Anyway, let's get on with this. First off, I would like to compliment the animation team, the creative team actually, for this refreshing animation style. The characters are so unique looking. In it's not Disney, it's not a copy and paste of like the Disney Pixar animation style. You know what I mean, like a Frozen and Kanto, yada yada yada. It's very unique. It actually reminds me a little bit of Arcane, and there is a small touch of uh, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse into it, like the way they draw some certain lines and animations and expressions on the characters. It reminds me a lot of them, like um more so Spider-Verse than Arcane, but it's around that range, but not too much. They are still very much leaning into the anime aesthetic of it, with their very subtle noses and not super shaded looks. mm, yeah, so I really really like the animation. Every character has a very recognizable silhouette to them. Like, you can definitely differentiate Rumi, Mira, and Zoe from each other. Same with like the Saja boys. Everybody has their own silhouettes and their own body type, which is really really nice, because I feel like in Disney it's so hard lately to do that. I'm comparing this a lot to Disney, but there are a lot of tiny details that are put into this movie, and it shows how much love is like put into this. For example, the 3-minute song thingy that they have in what's it called, the beginning, when they are beating up the demons. They told Bobby that they'll be there in like 3 minutes or something, and that is the exact time that happened, that they were actually there in 3 minutes when they told Bobby that. So I really appreciate that. Also, what I really also appreciate is the Huntrix makeup and no makeup look. Like, when they're performing, they have this heavy makeup on. They actually have like glitter in their eyes, like eyeshadows. There's like this stickers, like the glitter stickers on them to make them look pretty, because that is super popular in K-pop. At least when I was, looking at K-pop music videos and stuff like that back in the good old days. So yeah, I really really appreciate that. I also love the outfit designs of the Huntrix, especially. It actually reminds me of Girls' Generation. Their concert outfits are really heavily into that. I don't think I've ever seen modern K-pop artists wear the same outfit that they do. The creators also confirmed that BTS are part of their inspirations, which did not surprise me, because the moment I saw Baby Saja and Jinu and the rest waltzing around the screen in pink, I was instantly reminded of Boy with Love. And again, Baby Saja, he is literally the love child of Jimin and Yoongi. If you're an army, you would definitely think this too, because Baby Saja, his eyes and his lips are very much Jimin's face. Like, if you have ever seen Park Jimin and actually took in his beauty, you will see that his eyes are very unique, and his lips are very thick. So every time there's a Jimin variant, you have to just watch out for those. And also sometimes even his teeth. Like, for example, in Turning Red, there's this guy from Fort Town. He is definitely 100% a Jimin variant. That's because he has the lips, the thick lips, the eyes, the sweet smile, and blonde hair, and the teeth. Like, Jimin sometimes has like this cute little teeth with like a gap in them, small gap. It's very cute. And yes, I am an army. No, Jimin isn't my bias. Actually, my bias is Yoongi. He's so chill. I love him so much. And he's like a cat. I love him. I love him so much. Min Yoongi, marry me. If you know, you know. Yeah, so as I was saying, Baby Saja reminded me so much of Yoongi and also of Jimin. Jimin for the looks and Yoongi for the attitude and the rapping thing. But here's the thing, I also found out that remember there was this one scene from the movie K-pop Demon Hunters. They actually had Baby Saja drinking this spicy hot sauce. Recently, there is an interview of BTS at like the Hot Wings YouTube channel. One of them, the only ones who survived the Hot Wings challenge was actually Jimin and Jungkook. So it's confirmed that Jimin also has a very high spice tolerance, like Baby Sasha. So what a coincidence! I guess spice is what's good in Busan. There are a lot of people that compare Jinu to Jungkook, but honestly, I don't see it. He looks a lot more like, I would say, Jin than Jungkook, but each to their own. I actually don't know any comparisons for the other Saja boys. Like, do you guys know? I actually, you know what? There is this one K-pop idol that I can see being compared to Abby. He is like super buff. I just forgot the name. I'm pretty sure he's from Monster X. I don't know, but he is known for being super buff. So maybe that's an inspiration for Abby. But the others I don't really know. I can't see it because, to be honest, for me Jinu looks like your typical love interest in K-drama slash a manhwa. He just has that very typical look to him. So I just can't see anything. He's just like a very generic type kind of deal, except he's super dorky, which is what's making him lovable for me. So what do you guys think actually is like the inspiration for all of these characters? I can't say I'm much of a girl group fan, so I can't really comment on the Huntrix's character design and if they took inspiration from real life people, but I'm sure they did. I do love some girl groups. My favorite is actually Brown Eyed Girls. I know, second gen. And also, as I mentioned before, I did love girls' generations when I was growing up. I listened to G a lot when I was young. Anyways, the movie starts off in like good old times in South Korea, like when they were still wearing hanboks as normal clothing. We got introduced to the hunters in that era with this absolutely glorious, hauntingly beautiful song. And oh my god, when I first heard that, I got goosebumps. Actually, on my second rewatch or third rewatch of K-pop Demon Hunters, I still got goosebumps. That song is on my Spotify list, by the way. Spotify. What is a Spotify? Anyways, we cut off to the Huntrix in their private jet. They're like pre-gaming before their concert, their last tour concert, by the way, which they were late for. They didn't know they were late because their plane got hijacked by demons, but they were again pre-gaming with food, not alcohol, food. And I just feel like that is very unrealistic because K-pop's obsession with thinness kind of, you know. Anyway, also there's this one scene of Rumi sniffing the kimbap and then shoving it down her throat. God damn, I saw that gif as a reaction gif every fucking where. It was so much. And I don't know, I was just like, ugh, it gave me the ick when I saw it again. So there was that, and then they got a call from Bobby telling them, hey, where the fuck are you guys? You guys are late. Hello. And they're like, wait, what do you mean late? And then they look over to the flight attendant who was watering a plant with coffee. And they're like, okay, Bobby, we'll be there in like 3 minutes or something. And then they beat up the demons and kind of crashed their plane. You know what? I actually don't know where that plane crashed because they cut it in half. So where did that plane crash? It must have crashed somewhere and made the news, right? So anyway, they free fall down to their concert arena, which again they were late for. And you know what? If this was in real life, they would have been cancelled. The K netizens, they would have dragged them to field for being, late for the concert, the last stop on their tour, on their world tour to be specific. So yes, so they start singing at their concert while also killing the demons, and people thought that the demons actually were, fake. It's a costume and it's just special effects, even though, they're doing the murder right in front of everybody's eyes. They're just like, oh, this is so cool. Special effects with, the demons amidst the fans. And I was thinking, so demons can be seen by normal humans, right? So why did no one in the bathhouse see all of those water demons? Because the bathhouse, when they were fighting in the bathhouse, remember, there were some people there. They suddenly just vanished when the Huntrix got attacked by these water demons that Gino summoned. So I'm like, what? Where were they? Where are those people? Did they already get dragged into the depths of the abyss? Anyway, let's move on to the song. I really, really like the songs of the movie. I don't think I hated one at all. Everybody, every song was a banger. Everybody was also a banger, not gonna lie. So anyway, I feel like there's not a lot of animated musicals anymore. Of course, there's Wicked, which is also great, but it's not an animated movie, so I don't count that in this video. I wish there were more musicals like in the 90s, like animated musicals like Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, The Prince of Egypt. God damn, The Prince of Egypt. The soundtrack is so phenomenal. It's still in my playlist actually. You know what? A lot of 90s Disney song is still on my playlist. So it's just so good. Like the original soundtracks were so good. I don't know why people stopped making musicals anymore, especially animated musicals. And also, apropos songs, there were actually a lot of K-pop songs scattered in this movie that you'd really only know if you're into K-dramas and K-pop. And I'm pretty sure that the song that played when Jinu and Rumi bumped into each other was in a K-drama scene. Or just in a K-drama in general at some point. I think it was like their ending or something. But I don't remember which K-drama it is because I've seen so many K-dramas back in the days when I still had a lot of time on my hands and I was really into K-dramas. I saw a lot of rom-coms. So I don't know which one it is anymore. Also, what I really like is Gino's quiet eyes when they met and he brushed off his shoulder. If you've never consumed any K-dramas before or K-pop in general or anything Korean, you wouldn't really think much of this scene. That you would think that he just said Aish for the sake of it, but actually, Aish is like a shortened, more polite. I'm doing this with quotation mark, but it's something that the Koreans like to say on TV because they cannot say shibal, because that is a curse word. So it's like, I would say it's kind of like the equivalent of saying fuck, fudge, something like that. Okay. Something in that direction. Okay. So if you're like me who is familiar with the Hallyu movement, then you would know what that means actually, and you will probably find it a little bit amusing that he actually said Aish. And yeah, also all of the little Easter eggs in this movie with the Hallyu scenes is very much it's very amusing. Let's just say it like that. Also, I also saw a movie. Movie. Yeah, it's a K-pop group. They are, I don't know how old they are, but I saw their poster in the background of a scene before. And yeah, I just wanted to tell that. Also, Twice's strategy was playing when uh, Rumi and Mira and also Zoe were fighting on the train. not on the train, but like near the train, somewhere there. Yeah, so there is a lot of Easter eggs for Hallyu fans, which I really really appreciate. It's what makes the movie also like endearing to me. Anyway, at some point there was a joint fan signs between the Huntrix and the Saja Boys. And you know what? The first thing I thought about this, I was like, that is so unrealistic. First and foremost, they would have been cancelled if this ever happened. Especially the Huntrix stands, they would be super mad because first and foremost, the Saja Boys, they interrupted the Huntrix, and that is so rude. They would have dragged the Saja Boys and started a Twitter war with their stance for that. And also they would have probably cursed out all the multis and the shippers of Saja Boys and the Huntrix, because again, that is how it is in on the internet. And you know what? Rumi and Gino's dating rumor, that would have ended their careers. And since we're also talking about getting cancelled by K netizens, right? Rumi would have definitely gotten cancelled the moment she ran away from the live show, since she couldn't hit the high notes for Golden. The antis, they would have sent a lot of trucks with her face in protest in front of her agency and her apartment building. Also, the fact that she has patterns all over her body that could be viewed as tattoos, cancelled. And you know what? She would be forced to cover up her patterns by the TV networks anyway. Because you know Jungkook from BTS, he has a full sleeve tattoo, however you call that, and he has to wear long sleeves during concerts to make sure that they're not seen. Like, if he's not exempt by the TV networks or whatever from that rule, Rumi would definitely not be exempt either. Also, it's insane how people view tattoos so negatively in South Korea, and that's coming from someone who has zero tattoos because I'm scared of needles poking me. Okay, so you know, if you have tattoos, that just means you're very patient and you know how to budget, or you're very rich, because tattoos aren't cheap, guys. And you're very patient because you're just sitting there letting someone poke your skin and fill it with ink just so you have a piece of artwork on your body. Okay? So kudos to all the tattoo artists out there, and also the people who has tattoos. Yeah. Also, it might seem like I'm talking a lot about the Huntrix getting cancelled, specifically Rumi, but that's mostly because, you know, it's in the show, it's in the movie. But here is the thing, the Saja Boys would also be cancelled for the disrespect that they showed to the Huntrix. First and foremost, again with the fan sign, they did hijack the fan sign of the Huntrix. It's not their fan sign, so why did they suddenly pop up there? That is very rude. The second reason that they are also gonna get cancelled is that there was this one scene of them at the Idol Award, like the Huntrix and the Saja Boys, they met at the hallway, and the Saja Boys did not acknowledge or bow down to the Huntrix. And that, if people found out that they did that happened, someone from the background that is working there spread a rumor or like said, hey, the Saja Boys are super rude towards the Huntrix, they would have been cancelled first and foremost, because even though they are super popular right now, the Huntrix are still their industry seniors. So according to like K-pop rules, like just, you know, respect in Korea, they should be, you know, bowing to them, because Huntrix are the industry seniors and Saja Boys are still in their Nugudom. Like, they have one fucking song that went viral and now they think they're on top of the world. If I was a Huntrix fan and also I found out about that, I would be fucking livid. I would drag their name to filth. Okay, no, maybe not, because I am a very peaceful person. I don't talk badly about people on the internet. Okay, I am an army. I admit that. I am proud of that. But I am not someone who, you know, drag other idols to filth on the internet. I just don't have time for that. Okay, I let the others do that. Anyway, going back to Rumi's patterns, I really like the detail of it slowly growing. When we first saw her in a flashback where Mira and Zoe invited her to go to the bathhouse with them, she was actually wearing a shirt that just reached her elbows, but now, in the present, she has to wear long sleeves and a turtleneck and a hoodie. And you know what? I think Celine might have paid off the stylist to keep Rumi in long sleeves. Because honestly, why would they not let Rumi show off her arms? Like, unless the stylist is also in on it. And Bobby definitely doesn't know about all of this because he just seems very oblivious to all of that. But again, I think Celine just told them, hey, it's in Rumi's contract. She's not allowed to show her arms, okay? Also part of her neck in the future, probably. And at some point, I was thinking if Rumi never, she never had this moment of her accepting herself, if she would start wearing full bodysuits to concerts. Like right now, she's showing off a bit of her stomach because she wears crop tops and stuff like that. But in the future, who knows? Also, Celine definitely messed up Rumi and ruined her self esteem. Because you can genuinely tell that Celine doesn't see Rumi at all when Rumi was having a mental breakdown in front of her. Well, not really mental breakdown. She was having just a breakdown in front of her because she is now, showcasing all of these patterns all over her body. And not only did Celine refuse to look her in the eyes, she won't even touch Rumi's face because it had demon marks on it. And it's such a small detail that it really made me appreciate the character animation and storytelling and also the character acting when I saw it and realized, hey, she's just hovering her hands on her cheek. What the hell? You know what? I 100% believe that Celine only sees Rumi's mom whenever she looks at Rumi. She doesn't really see Rumi as a real person or her own person, actually, just a shadow of her mother. And apropos Rumi's mother and her parents, we actually don't know who her father is. And we don't really know much about her mother. We just know that her mom is part of like the previous hunters, the something something sisters, which Celine is a part of. Okay, so we don't know who her father is, but there are some theories out there by other people that says that Guima is actually, it's possible that he's Rumi's father because he did say at some point that he knows one of the Huntrix has his marks, but I don't really buy it. I don't buy that Guima is Rumi's father. I don't know. Also, there was this one scene where Rumi told Jinu that while he made a mistake, she is a mistake. And when she said that, I couldn't help but wonder if her mother was sexually assaulted by a demon. But then her mother clearly wanted her since she wasn't aborted. So also, if that were the case, Celine would have killed her in an instant. Like she would have had no mercy when she was born. Like chop chop, gone with the half demon baby. Also, Jinu, I have to wonder which version of his past is actually the real one. Is it the one where he told Rumi that he brought his sister and his mother along with him to the palace to become a musician and then watched them later get kicked out of the palace once his favor with, like, I don't know, the emperor or whatever was over? Or is it Guima's version where Jinu actually abandoned them from the start? Honestly, I'm leaning more towards Guima's version. I know he's a demon, I know he's a liar, but it just seems like doing the thing that he told Jinu, that he abandoned them from the start without a care in the world while he frolicked around in the palace filling his belly. I feel like that would leave a much more shameful stain on one's conscience compared to the latter, his version that he told Rumi, right? So what do you guys think is actually the real version? Anyway, the Idol Awards happen, and that is when, the girls perform and strengthen the Honmoon for a whole year. The girls agreed to perform Golden instead of Takedown, which is, a diss track that they wrote about the Saja boys, because again, Rumi's like, this is way too hateful, it's not us. We need something better to, make the Honmoon golden. That's why she's like, let's just perform Golden, guys. So they perform that. They are on the first half of Golden, and Rumi is doing her solo moment, and while Zoe and Mira are waiting on the side and getting, refreshed by the makeup artist and stuff like that, they saw Bobby get dragged away by demons. And they're like, shit, Bobby. So the two of them rushed to help Bobby and found out that it was actually demons in disguise and they were tricked. So they they rush back to Rumi, but there's so many people, moving around in the background, and they just couldn't get there in time. And I really also appreciate Mira and Zoe and how they rushed to help Bobby, even though they were supposed to return on stage in 20 seconds. And the manager, the person that's like organizing all of this, she must have been hella stressed out when two of the Huntrix just left. She's like, fuck. So anyway, while all of that was happening, Rumi was on stage, and there are two demons disguised as Mira and Zoe, and they started playing Takedown. And they started ripping off Rumi's jackets and showing to people her patterns. And that is when the whole world found out, especially Mira and Zoe, that Rumi is a demon. Like, okay, the whole world didn't know she was a demon. They don't know what those patterns mean, okay? But yeah, so Rumi got exposed to the Huntrix, and they had like this small, I wouldn't say fight, but it was like a heartbreaking scene where Rumi is like, oh, I'm so glad that you guys are safe. You weren't like demons actually. And Mira, she's just like staring at her in like confusion, in hurt, in anger. Same with Zoe, and Mira just points her naginata, like her spear, at Rumi, and I was like, damn girl, I thought you guys were besties. Also, side note, while I was watching the takedown scene where Rumi's jacket was getting ripped off of her, I was thinking, damn, these demons, how did they know the choreography for takedown? There must have been some sort of demon or spy at least in the midst of Huntrix when they were practicing, because how else would they know the choreo? Anyways, the Huntrix's drama, like their public breakup is what it was called on the news, was again told on the news for a lot of people to watch, as they announced that the Saja Boys won all of the awards with Soda Pop. And the Saja Boys appeared on screen, and I was like, oh, this is such a sad day, guys. How about you guys go to our free concert to cheer you guys up? And they kind of hypnotized the people there. And the other people that were also hypnotized were Mira and Zoe, and also Bobby. Yeah, so they were like, let's go to watch the Saja Boys perform, and they performed Idol, which is my favorite song in this movie. I know a lot of people probably like Golden the most, but Idol is just, it's just right up my alley. It's so good. I love the very beginning of it. Also, the performance was top notch. I am really loving it. Also, I was thinking that if I was in the real world, or in their world actually, and I saw the Saja Boys performing this, and I was just, watching from my phone, I would think, hey, are they actually wearing acrylic nails? I'm just so sure that if people saw this performance here, at least in real life, they would be saying, oh my god, the Saja Boys are wearing acrylic nails, they're wearing falsies, and people will be typing slay in the comment section. I just know it. Also, there was this one TikTok that I saw of a guy acting as the Saja Boys' human manager, and they were looking at everything that's happened during that concert performance of theirs, and they're like wondering where the budget came from, because first of all, they have a whole new costume, they have a whole new looks, they're purple-ish from head to toe with patterns on them, right? So where did the budget for that come from? Also, they have pyrotechnics thanks to Glima, and also they are flying around with some background dancers that are getting stabbed and beat up by the Huntrix. So if I was their manager, I would be like, where did the money for this all come from? How come I don't know all of this? So yeah. Oh, apropos getting stabbed, I think the only Saja boys that are still alive are actually Baby Saja and Romance, right? Because we didn't really get to see them slain like Mystery and Abby. Like those two, they are dead. The only other person deader than them is Jinu. And you know what? I actually really like that Jinu sacrificed himself, and it's not like a happily ever after romance. Maybe that's just because I am so tired of the happy ever after Prince Charming gets together with the princess type of deal. I know that Actually, a lot of show and movies haven't done that in a while, but I'm just tired of that. I don't want that. I am happy with Rumi, being herself, being happy with herself, even though she's probably, super sad about Genu sacrificing himself. He's still part of Rumi in the fact that he became her new sword. Also, this ending, just a little fun fact, but Jungkook from BTS, he actually watched this movie live and reacted to it live with armies watching him on stream, and he was so upset when Jinu sacrificed himself, because that's his ship just sunk right in front of his eyes. God bless Jungkook, he is just so sweet. Anyway, if they ever plan to make a part 2 of this movie, I really, really hope that they don't bring Jinu back from the dead, because that what he did was such a lovely showcase of sacrifice that I feel like if he resurrected, it'll be a spit on his grave. So, Jinu, stay dead, please. In part 2, though, I would like to know what happened to Baby Saja and Romance, if they are still alive. That's one thing. I want to know more about Mira and Zoe, because this movie is mostly about Rumi and her issues, and also a little bit about Jinu, which is fine. We can't have everything put into one whole movie, so some characters just has to stay as side characters. So yeah, yes. Anyway, this was definitely a fun watch, especially for kids. This is, I totally understand why they've become so popular, because not only are the songs super catchy, I also feel like the children are lacking in animated musicals that they can call theirs. Because when we were growing up, we had Disney and their Renaissance era with, all of these amazing animated musicals. And because Disney was like at the top, people were copying them with the other musicals. For example, Anastasia. Oh my god, Anastasia. I love that movie. And then we had, again, The Prince of Egypt. We had so many good movies that are animated and musicals. Animated musicals. But nowadays, I feel like the kids, they only had, Encanto and K-pop Demon Hunters. And Encanto, like, it aired ages ago. Encanto. I wouldn't even count Frozen, because Frozen is like, it's like 13 years old according to Google. So yeah, kids need their own animated musicals that, again, they can call their own, because right now Disney, all they're giving the kids of this generation are our reheated nachos with all of their goddamn remakes that doesn't make anything any better. And you know what? If I ever watch a Disney movie, I will be hate watching it. Especially Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is my favorite movie, and I have never watched or seen a clip of well, okay, that's a lie. I actually saw someone comment about Lilo and Stitch live action, which, made me realize I am never going to watch that live action, because it will ruin my childhood. And yeah, so if I ever do that, know that I am hate watching that movie, and I will watch it with a hateful heart and a hateful eyes. Also, again, to be honest, I think that this movie only got as popular as it did thanks to K-pop fans, because Netflix, they barely promoted this movie. Like, I wouldn't have known about this movie's existence if it wasn't for my For You page being leaning towards Hallyu. Like, I get a lot of K-pop news and stuff like that. So this was a surprise, because where was the marketing for this movie? Sony most likely didn't want to keep this movie because it's an original IP, first and foremost. So they didn't want to, test out the waters. But they don't know how passionate K-pop fans can be. And again, this is the reason it got so popular, because of the K-pop fans. Especially with all the hidden Easter eggs that were put inside the movie for all the Hallyu fans. Yeah, it was bound to get super popular. It's just Sony doesn't know their shit. Anyways, give me more animated movies with good musicals, please. Sony definitely needs to stick with just, animation. I think Sony really needs to lock in on the animation department, because the animation that they're doing, especially ever since Into the Spider-Verse, they are top tier, top notch. They should definitely take the crown from Disney for, animated movies, because Disney is not doing anything with that anymore. So might as well, right? There is a spot in the market to be filled in, because there's still a lot of people who likes animation. There are a lot of adults who love animation. I'm one of those adults who loves animation, obviously. So, yeah, honestly, I would rate this movie an 8.5 out of 10. It's very entertaining, and the songs are super catchy. It's great. The the character designs are great. I love them. But yes, the story is a little bit okay. The dialogue is kind of cringy at times. The humor is not really my lane. So those are like the minus points. But overall, it's like a very entertaining watch. I would tell people to watch this if they have nothing else to watch, especially children. It's a good family movie. So yeah, highly recommend if you have nothing else to watch. Again, there are so many media out there. But yeah. I know that this rating sounds like I'm hating on the movie. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. If I'm hating on a show or a movie, you will know. So again, 8.5, and that's pretty much it. What did you guys think of this review? What did you guys think of the movie? Do you guys like the Saja Boys or the Huntrix more? Which one is your favorite song? Who is your favorite Saja Boy? Who is your bias? Who is your bias for the Huntrix, the Saja Boys? Tell me all about it. Oh, and do you ship anyone? Also, something about the artwork. If you guys don't know Alien Stage, you're probably super confused as to what and why I'm drawing Rumi like looking like this, and Mira is like shot on the neck. That is because it's a crossover between Alien Stage and K-pop Demon Hunters. Alien Stage is like this um it's a survival of the fittest kind of TV show. Well, not really TV show. It's free on YouTube. You guys should watch it. It's like it has such good songs. But it's basically this group of kids, this young adults actually, that are singing on stage for their life. Like if they lose, they die basically. And I was thinking, you know what if I actually draw a crossover between K-pop Demon Hunters and Alien Stage, because I like both media. Why not? And they both have animated singers, and yeah, this is what happened. If you know the Alien Stage lore, you will see that Rumi is holding like the mic that is kind of like a signature look for Alien Stage, which is like the white mics. And also each character on Alien Stage, they have this not really a tattoo, but it's like a marker with their name. It's like made in silver, because they are owned by aliens. Like humanity was enslaved by aliens in Alien Stage, and it's like so good. And yeah, highly recommend it. It's in Vivino's channel. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Before I go, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps my channel out a lot. My commissions are open, and my Vision link is down in the description below. Check out my story Dreaming of Aurora if you have the time. And finally, thanks to my patrons Robek, Vanarik, and J. Voljevelitska for the support. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!